A blow to London's automotive sector will lead to Tillsonbug's gain. Switzerland-based Autoneum has announced the closure of its facility in the Forest City, with that operation being consolidated at the Tillsonbug plant, which the company says offers the strongest foundation with increased volumes and improved efficiency. Tillsonbug Mayor Deb Gilvasey sympathizes with the 136 affected workers, but hopes this provides stability and investment for the town.
Well, obviously, we don't ever want to see a plant close. And, hopefully it isn't indicative of where the auto industry may go. Obviously, from a Tillsonbug perspective, we're glad to see that they're going to remain local. They're going to consolidate in the town of Tillsonbug and hopefully bring some more jobs into the town. So it's both negative and positive.
I find it disappointing. We have met with the federal government on quite a few occasions over the past 3 months. I understand that they are always trying to make trade deals and looking, but our plant sits empty. And one of the options we talked about, which still could happen in the future, is I'm not worried about the Chinese electric cars. If they think they're that strong and that well made, then we could make them in Canada. Chinese will not allow any vehicles to be brought into their country. So GM can't we can't make vehicles here and ship them to China, but now we're going to let the exact opposite happen. But if they wanted to, we could easily turn our plant into we could retool it and do a joint venture. We used to have a joint venture with Suzuki. We could do a joint venture with the Chinese and obviously provide jobs for hopefully thousands of Canadians here.
So a cold weather alert for Southwestern Public Health is triggered when temperatures reach minus 15 degrees Celsius or a wind chill of minus 20. So the purpose of our alerts is to let our partners and municipalities know that it's going to get cold so that they can start to set their own plans in place to protect people that might be more vulnerable to the cold.
We have the Joe Thornton Arena that's open first thing in the morning till late at night, and that is considered our warming station. It does close, and then at that time we indicate to the residents that or anybody that's using it that they can go to the inn and continue for a warming station.
So groups that we're looking out for the most when temperatures get this cold are older adults, infants and young children, people who work outdoors, and people who don't have adequate shelter. We would encourage people to stay indoors where they can. If you are going out, dress in layers, cover up any exposed skin, avoid caffeine and alcohol because it can cool you down faster. And check on neighbors, friends, family, especially people who might be more isolated.
Well, we tell people to bundle up, obviously dress warm, dress for the occasion, know where your warming station is. And then we also put out messaging to there's no ice that's safe ice either. Stay off of the ponds and retention areas, and then keep people advised of where you're going also.
Tillsonbug Council has officially approved the location and concept for a new town hall, ending nearly a decade of discussion over where civic operations should call home. At the January 12th meeting, Council voted to renovate the existing customer service centre at 10 Liscar Avenue, selecting Paulson Construction of Brantford to take on the project. The total cost is pegged at $5.69 million, capped at $6 million, and importantly, will not require a tax increase.
There will be no impact on the levy at all. In fact, it's going to save money.
The project will unfold in 3 phases over roughly 19 months, repurposing the building's former hydro bays into council chambers, offices, and a modern public service area.
Town staff has been kind of scattered, like over multiple buildings. So this is really kind of bringing everyone under one envelope. And I think for the town as well, it's like a one-stop shop.
A mix of land sale revenue, reserves, and a controlled debenture will fund the work at a lower annual cost than the town once paid in mall rent. Town staff say favorable construction conditions and long-term savings make this the right time to move forward.
Every town needs some sort of presence where citizens know that they can go to get, some of their issues resolved.
The municipality of Strathroy-Caradoc has received $15 million in grant funding from the provincial government's Municipal Housing and Infrastructure Program to support upgrades to the Strathroy water and wastewater treatment facility.
I'm going to use the word transformative. That's what that means to our community. I think, like every community, we all have infrastructure funding challenges.
The upgrade focuses on twinning the existing lagoon at the Strathroy facility.
What that's going to do is going to be able to allow us to do maintenance on the existing lagoon and then also have a second lagoon available for the future. It'll position us very well in the future to enable us to continue to grow and put us in a place where we can accommodate future capacity.
Work continues on the Mount Bridges wastewater facility upgrades, which this grant does not directly fund.
This is one pot of money, right? So this is earmarked for that specific project. We don't have to raise $15 million, right? This comes through water rates. So this is good for everyone.
The Strathroy facility will be tender ready soon, with work anticipated to begin in mid to late 2026.
The City of Woodstock is introducing online voting for the 2026 municipal election in an effort to boost engagement. Voter turnout in the last election dropped to 27.7%, down from 31% in 2018. Across Ontario, online and telephone voting is becoming increasingly common, with more than 200 municipalities expected to use it in 2026. Woodstock's hybrid model will allow residents to vote either online or in person.
We know that there are barriers that electors do face to traditional voting and getting out to a poll. And that could be things like mobility, it could be transportation, it could also be challenging work schedules. And so voting online gives them another choice where they're able to cast their ballot in a much easier way.
Online voting will run 2 weeks prior to Election Day. And while the city says security standards follow national digital governance guidelines, some researchers say online systems still pose challenges.
You have a third-party company that is running it typically, and they just handle the whole thing, and then they report at the end of the night to the election officials what happened. So where do you get that assurance, that evidence that everything was counted up correctly? There was no hacking, there was no fraud, there was no mistakes that got made.
Despite those concerns, city officials say they hope the added convenience and flexibility will help more residents head to the polls this fall.
Strathroy-Caradoc's budget was presented by the mayor to council last week. Councillors raised some concerns, prompting a review and re-release of the budget.
Rather than myself as strong mayor just ramming it through, just go, okay, let's answer those questions. I'll represent it in a week and let's just do the right thing.
One of the changes will be returning the police budget to the way it was originally approved by the police board.
In the capital, I had not recommended the police annex. I think the day before, we received all mayors with strong mayor powers, received a memo from the Solicitor General and Ministry of Municipal Affairs saying, hands off the police budget. So we just need to regroup, right? These things happen. It's all part of the learning exercise.
The budget, as presented, would represent a 4.53% increase to the municipal portion of the property tax bill.
What I try to do is minimize debt. It's near zero, right? And use reserves to improve our parks, right? But to me, though, and that's where a lot of the discussion was amongst councillors, we're in good shape. We got money, we got lots of position, Hey, as Councillor Derbyshire said once, we got a really clean credit card, let's not run it up. And that was my focus. I don't like tax increases. It's at 4.53, but there's something people need to remember. Of every dollar that they spend in taxes, whether it's us, the county, or education, we're responsible for 55%. So that 55 cents for every dollar, it's going to go up less than 4%. So, hey, I don't like tax increases. I live here too.
Council has 30 days after the next presentation of the budget to propose amendments before final approval.
Want to share news from your area? We'd love to hear from you. Email us with your community updates and be part of the conversation.